Hi, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing good. So, I'm currently training to run a half marathon in 1 hour and 45 minutes, and I've been struggling with motivation and the uncertainty of when I'm going to achieve this goal, and knowing that, yeah, the only way forward is to just keep going until I make it. And in this process, I also just realized that I've lost some balance in my life. It's just been a lot about running and pushing and doing. This week, I've really tried to do more of the things that I really enjoy and other things than running. And one of the things is yoga. Fun fact, I used to be a yoga teacher. I started practicing yoga when I was 18, and it was such a big part of my life. And in the last years, just being really focused on running, I've kind of, lost a bit of this connection. And with that, I also have noticed, I've lost this sense of, embodiment and sensuality in my body. I feel like I don't know, moving in a more, rigid way. I don't know if that makes sense. Um, so I want to find a bit more softness. And this morning, there's a really cute event called Yoga and Breakfast Club. It's a morning yoga class, and then we have breakfast after. I think it's a variety of different cereals, which is so cute because I don't remember the last time I had a bowl of cereal. So I wanted to take you to the event, share a yoga class, eat some cereal, and find balance. Look at my new shoes. What do you think? I think it's either you love it or hate it. One thing I've been thinking about is something that my therapist told me. He was quoting an author, and he said, and you have to go extremes in order to find yourself. And I don't know, hearing that just also gave me a lot of peace because I personally tend to, go extremes, like all in or nothing. And I used to get really frustrated about it. But hearing that just gave me a perspective that this is so human and it's actually what we're supposed to experience, because if we don't experience both extremes, then how do we know what balance feels like? How do we know where the middle line is? And I don't think we're supposed to just stay in the middle balanced, because that would also be so boring. And I think this life is for us to experience as much as we can, all the highs and lows, both extremes, and just continue to find our way back to our balance. I actually think that's what boundaries mean. I'm still learning about boundaries, but I think that's what boundaries are, is to figure out where you're okay and where you are okay to push and where you just want to have the line. I don't know, that's my thoughts. Okay, so we're here. I have brought you here before. We're at the House of Color. It's a community space in Berlin, and they host all sorts of events. You have to take your shoes off. try it?
These ones?
Yeah.
I'm just pouring them in.
This is so
Honestly, I feel like I'm out of balance like all the time. I think it's one of those things where like I'll only notice it once I like I'll go to Priya's classes, like yoga classes, and then afterwards I'll notice like, oh my god, there was so much stuff going on in my head before, but I wasn't even conscious of it. And so I feel like it's just this kind of like productive chaos that kind of just like I move with, and then there's certain points where I'll check back in with myself, and it'll be like, oh, maybe I should be more conscious of not doing this, or this just feels really good to feel centered again. But I guess it doesn't really bother me to be off balance. I feel like because I study and I work, and so there are definitely times where I feel like I'm either studying too much, working too much, or hanging out with Priya too much, and it's like I am being torn in like a too much of a wrong direction. But I feel like it just naturally somehow I always end up finding where I need to go again. I feel like I just trust myself. I think that's the thing that like keeps me going.
In those times when I felt out of balance, I think about are my spiritual needs being met, as because my physical needs of eating and sleeping and resting are there. Exercise, I exercise 3 to 4 times a week, go for walks. But there's also my social needs. Am I seeing my friends? Am I seeing my family? Um, and also, am I giving? So, yes, I think about balance a lot if I'm feeling out of sorts.
Balance for me means inner peace and being at peace with myself. Because without that, I don't feel balance in my life. I've struggled a lot with finding balance. I still struggle every day as well. And when I'm out of balance, my entire self worth completely collapses. The way that I perceive myself and the way that I think people perceive me changes completely. And then I have to find my way to back to like balance, and I usually do this through finding my way back to yoga somehow and like-minded people as well. Of course, I also like I go to therapy because I need like this consistency of someone helping me to analyze what's going on. Because it's a combination of so many things. I have my therapy for the cognitive elements, and then I have yoga for the more physical and energetic elements as well, and meditative elements where I can just let go completely. So balance, it plays a huge role in my life, probably because I don't find it very easily, and I think it's a lifelong journey, actually. Yeah, and feeling out of balance, you're not alone. You're never alone in that.
So the way that I guess the way that I see like balance is sort of in multi dimensions. So I consider well-being as physical well-being, mental well-being, social well-being, financial well-being, cultural, like creative, like many different types of well-being. And I guess if I feel that I'm out of balance, usually I'll feel certain emotions like sadness or frustration or loneliness. So I know like the emotion is sort of giving me a hint as to what part of the well-being is out of balance. So like if I feel lonely, then I know, okay, my social well-being is out of balance. Yeah, like if I feel uninspired or like what would be the emotion there? I don't know, like flat or maybe apathetic, then I know, okay, my creative well being is sort of missing or out of balance. If I feel sort of lethargic or low energy, then it's maybe my physical well being. Um, and and then that's how I know that I feel out of balance. And then what do I do? Then I have like a list, and this is what I do in my workshops as well. Sometimes I have this like well-being workshop where we create like a list of like SOS things. So like what can you do within an hour that will make you feel better. So that can be like super simple things, just like make a tea, have a bath. Like for me, having a bath is it like solves every problem. Like most like mental well-being or physical well-being problems, just because it's so like I come from Sydney and I really miss the water living in Berlin. So like if I can't go to the lake or go swim at a pool, then even just like a bath is really healing. I'm just thinking of it because I had a bath yesterday. Yeah, or just like call a friend. You know, like it's a really simple list of just really fast things and also often free. And then there's like a longer list of things that maybe require a bit more time or effort that even just like, you know, buying flowers or like going out for like, a forest walk or doing something with a friend that just requires like a little more organization.
It's definitely important, and I find what I often fixate on is like the scope of balance. Like, does the day feel balanced? Does my week feel balanced? Does my year feel balanced? Like, and then in what context does that mean? Like balanced in my body, balanced in my mind. And I think especially now, because I've left my job of stability and structure, like now that I'm in charge of my own schedule, I found that it's really been such a journey for me to, like, on the one hand, it's great to feel empowered that I'm in charge of my own time, but then that also means that I have to spend my time doing something that feels meaningful to me, I've come to realize. And like figuring out what that is has been really interesting. And like right now I've started to like build more of an online presence, and I think that's been really interesting because I realized that initially I thought that it would be really easy, but it actually is quite energy draining in certain ways. Like I don't know if you experience something similar. But then on the other hand, like because it's not the same thing as my corporate job where I was sitting in front of a desk 9 hours or 10 hours a day, like staring at a computer screen, like it's a very different kind of draining. And I think I'm learning to acknowledge that, but I think sort of giving myself grace for how I'm feeling and not comparing how I'm feeling today to how I'm feeling yesterday. I'm creating a yoga pants business. Link it here. And I think because I'm also the only one working on it, I was actually like, so today is the day when my pants are arriving, the first sample. And I last night had a bit of a meltdown of just sort of being like not really believing in myself. And so I think that's where this notion of balance comes in is, okay, there will be days where I don't believe in myself and my confidence feels really, really low. But then there are also days where it's the inverse, where I feel maybe even overly confident and super excited about everything. And I think those feelings really just bubbled up with knowing that today is the first day that I'm going to see something like tangible that I've helped make. So yeah, just like day by day, but also knowing, like sort of surrendering a bit of what I can really control, and just sort of trusting that, okay, as long as I just do my best right now, I trust that in the grand scheme of things, if I zoom all the way out to like how balanced is my life, like I trust that it'll all sort of work out in the end. So I guess, yeah, like looking at it from a super zoomed in lens, but then also knowing that there's this external view of it as well.
So I hope you enjoyed coming to the event with me. I also took so much away from asking others about their experience with balance. What really stood out to me is that we're all going through the same things and we're never alone. Yeah, and that it's just a human experience to get out of balance, and we don't have to do it perfectly. It's just about, you know, having that awareness and finding our way back to our center. So whether that be going to a yoga class, going for a walk outside, making a nice breakfast, having time to yourself, also connecting to others. I think that's a big one for me. I think I need more social connections to find my balance. Yeah, whatever it is, I hope you give that to yourself or just think about the things that you need. I really like what Steph said about having this SOS kit, so that you can come back to your SOS kit and give yourself what you need to get back into it, because we can always find balance. So keep moving, keep balancing, keep doing the things with all the good jujus, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye.